Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we are going to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to me because it is one of the supports that I feel can have the most impact on individuals who are struggling with attention or memory. This is a support that many of us use every day without even realizing that we're using it. However, if suddenly this type of support was completely gone, I'm guessing that pretty much every single one of us is going to struggle. So what is it that I'm talking about today? Today, I am going to talk about visuals, or what some people like to call visual supports. So visuals are something that are oftentimes considered for students who have autism spectrum disorder. However, we also can discuss visuals as being a support for students and adults who may struggle with attention or memory. Let's talk about why visuals are needed and why they work. First off, let's talk about attention. Attention is something that each one of us have. There is a hierarchy to attention that allows us to expand our skills in this area as we grow and develop. Each one of us has a certain length of a time that we can pay attention, considering our attention span, and we also have a different threshold of ability to pay attention when there might be distractions or other things going on around us. If somebody is struggling with paying attention, either all the time or just during a particular period of time, that means that they are going to be missing information that's being given to them during that time frame. Have you ever had a scenario where you're really distracted thinking about something that's going on? And then maybe a loved one comes home and says, hey, could you pick this up while you're at the store? So you go to the store and you get all of the things, but you forget that one item that you were asked to bring home. That likely is because you weren't able to attend to that request when it was being made of you. However, if that loved one had written that note down and handed it to you, you were going to be much more likely to remember that item at the grocery store because you would have had a visual with you. If we talk about memory, we only get one chance to hear that information and commit it to memory. If, again, we get something like a list written down for us, we can then reference that list over and over again in order to remember what it is that we needed to do. Visuals or visual supports are something that can help anyone, especially if you're someone that's struggling at the time with attention and or memory. Now we know what a visual is. We know why it is important. We know that they can be high and or low tech, but the question remains, when should we consider making a visual? So if it's for ourselves, we naturally know when we need that support. That's when we start using things like planners and lists or leaving Post-it notes for ourselves. But what about if we're working with someone else? Maybe we're teaching a class, whether that is to school-age students, college students. Maybe we are providing some sort of professional development for our employees. Maybe we are working with our family, right? We have our own kids or our spouse, and we're needing to answer the same questions over and over again. Here's a very easy rule of thumb. If you have to repeat yourself 3 times, make a visual. So for example, if you have a student, you're a teacher and you have a student that comes up to you and says, where do we turn this assignment in? You can tell them in the basket. If you have another student come up to you and say, where do I turn this assignment in? You might tell them in the basket. The third time that a student asks you that same question, it's time for you to make a sign that says, turn in assignments here, and put it by the turn in basket. Because your students aren't picking up on that information, you're not being clear enough of where that happens. Again, if you are talking with your family at home, and you have a child or a spouse or a loved one of some form that says, what do I need to bring on vacation this weekend? And you tell them what they need to pack. And then they ask you again, what did I need to pack again? And then the third time they ask you that question, you need to be writing out a list of what that person needs to pack. By doing this, it does 2 things. One, it decreases your stress. You start feeling better because you're not repeating yourself all the time. And you're going to be in a better mental place to help your family, your loved ones, your students, etc. It decreases their stress. Nobody likes having to say that they don't remember what it was they were supposed to be doing. By giving a visual, it gives something back that they can go and look at independently, and it decreases their stress level. The third thing that it does is it increases independence. By creating a visual, you are teaching other people to be able to use those tools and those skills to go back and look for information when they need it. This avoids them becoming dependent on you always being the one to remind them of what's going on. To wrap things up today, visuals are important. We all use them every day. We use calendars, we use sticky notes, we use lists, we use notebooks. We know that visuals can help us feel more confident, more on top of what it is we are doing, and more organized. Now we have to take that a step further and help the people that we interact with every day by creating visuals when we need to relay information and they might not be attending to or remembering what it is we are trying to explain. So I encourage you to try out visuals, not just for yourself, but if you find yourself repeating yourself 3 times, make a visual. Go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, do all of the things so that you catch the next video that we bring out.